What's going on, YouTube? It's Ripper 556. I know y'all thinking, damn, where has this guy been? Been going through a lot, but I'll explain that into another video. Let's get it in today's topic. Alright, YouTube. Today's video is going to be about the real reason why they're trying to ban this. Now, before I go any further, the chamber is open. There's no mag. There's no bullets in the mag. Always preach safety. So I will never handle a loaded firearm indoors. Always preach safety. So I've been sitting back for a very long time watching various Democrats, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, talk about, gun control as their reason to banning this weapon, saying assault weapons. For anyone that knows the definition of an assault rifle is a rapid fire weapon designed for infantry use. So, the last time I checked, this is a semi-automatic sporting rifle. America's heritage. It's been around for a very long time. So, how is this an assault weapon? Various politicians have little to no knowledge of firearms and how they actually operate, because they don't have to worry about things like that. They have people that carry their guns for them to protect them. So that's what they don't have to worry about. It's people like us, the common people, that have rights to bear these, and they shall not be infringed. That's the whole point of the Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed. They have to worry about things like this. Gun control does not stop criminals. I'm sorry. They don't follow laws to begin with. That's why they're criminals. I constantly say that time after time. But the real reason why I believe that they are trying to ban this weapon is due to civil war. A lot of racism has been going on, a lot of mass shootings that have been going on, and I'll get to that in a second, but not to go off topic. But that's what I believe. And the reason why I say that is because there is an individual by the name of John Mark that has a video that I actually watched. And I won't post it in this video because the video is about an hour long, but I'll give a brief, perspective of what he talked about as far as a second civil war going on in America. So basically what John Mark talks about is the fact that there's about 300 million or a little bit more Americans in the States. Now, out of those 300, at least 100 million people are armed with at least one firearm, be it a handgun, shotgun, but I can almost guarantee you in every American home, there is at least one of these in some form or fashion. Because they're popular, they're cheap, it's so many things that you can do with them, they're fun, they're for competition shooting, teaching people, recreational shooting, things of that nature. I mean, people in certain states actually use this to put food on the table. I mean, who can't say that an AR-15 is not fun? But politicians are sitting here saying that, why would you need one? Well, anyone knows in self-defense, a handgun is effective only with shot placement. But even if you have shot placement, you will have certain situations where you could pour 5 to 10 bullets at someone, and because they're in a adrenaline rage, they'll keep coming at you. So then that's when you pull this out to put them down and put them down for good. Because you want to protect yourself, and anyone knows that a rifle is always good in any combat situation. Hence, that's why soldiers use these, and they use these first and use a pistol, which is considered a sidearm, as a last resort. But back to what I was saying. There are roughly maybe a million and a half armed forces between police and our military service. But between the military service, most of them, you all know, are deployed. So that even cuts, I'd say, maybe a million people in the States on the ground that is our military force. So in that video, Mark states that it only takes about 40 million people to overthrow the government, so to speak. All right. Well, if they want to it's possible because you only have a million people that is law enforcement. So you have more people with these that's able to fight the people who are supposed to protect and serve, and as far as the military goes. So why would they want to disarm us? Because if you go at someone with a pistol and they got an AR-15 or an automatic rifle, assault rifle, 9 times out of 10, the person with the handgun is going to lose. I mean, that's the whole point. These rifles are designed to take down multiple threats and keep you in the fight. A sidearm is exactly, a pistol is exactly what it is. And believe it or not, their whole pressure for gun control, more homicides and more, crimes are committed with handguns than they are with these. So their whole numbers is just scare tactics to get people to go where they want to go and to get them in office. It's a whole bunch of BS. But as I stated, if you disarm the common people, you have a less chance of civil war breaking out. Even if it were, it would get shut down because armed forces have superior firepower. But if you have more of us, which is there are more of us that are armed than it is of them, then you have that chance of that actually a coup, so to speak, happening. Because if you have 40 million Americans that's pretty much armed to the teeth as much as the next guy is, only thing that separates the common civilian versus law enforcement or military is their training. So that, in that perspective, so to speak, they may have an advantage, but everyone knows that there's always strength in numbers. They might knock a lot of us down, but when you have 100 million more Americans armed, you're using basically the same platform, at some point, something's going to give. I mean, they know what's going on. That's why they're doing everything to distract us from the actual truth. Now, not only because of this, you also have them trying to bring up the banning of body armor. I mean, come on. That just further suspects my theory. The fact that they're trying to disarm us and put us in a predicament to believe more in them and to make people who hate guns feel like they're safe. Like, don't get me wrong, our government is supposed to keep us safe, but just like if you were to call the police, they only show up and want to decide to do things and put laws in place after the fact that something has happened. You are responsible for your own personal safety. Don't let anyone else tell you differently, because I believe that solely at the end of the day, because there's evil out in the world. But that is my real reason. I will actually link the video in the description below. Now, I stated earlier in the video that I was going to briefly discuss my views on mass shootings. I realize I've already taken up a lot of your time, so I'm going to be brief with this. Mass shootings will only be stopped when the assailant is met with the same amount of force, or if not more force, because then he realized that at this point, hey, somebody's actually able to shoot back. Maybe I don't want to die today, but when you take that force to fight back out of the equation, he has a God complex. Hey, I have no resistance. Let's see how many bodies I can rack up. Let me go for the world record. Get my 15 minutes of fame. Gun control does not stop this from happening. That's why you have armed guards at the White House. That's why the president has the Secret Service, for that reason. Just in the event that a nutbag wants to grow a pair and say, hey, I want to do this. But the thing is, taking guns is illegal because our right to bear arms shall not be infringed. I cannot stress that enough. Secondly, there are other countries that have more guns than the states do, and they have less homicides and less suicides for that matter. And the reason being is because people are properly trained and they take the proper necessary steps to make sure things like that doesn't happen. I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen as often. It doesn't even matter if it's a civilian or law enforcement. They have the proper training. So that's the only way that things like this are going to stop from happening. And if you ask me, I believe, it's all scripted to push for what they're really trying to do, which is to ban this, because they know at some point a second civil war is coming. So why not make it easier for them to have less of a resistance for the common civilian to put up a fight than for them to worry about having a power struggle and being stagnant. So that's my thoughts. That's my beliefs. If you got any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to drop them down in the video. I will respond. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. My videos, more content will be coming in the future. Thank you.